Dear students, in my previous class, I had talked about the novel named Tales of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. I had talked from chapter 1 to chapter 20. Today I want to talk from chapter 21 to 33. Dear students, in these chapters we find many pictures of the relationship between Thais D'Urbervilles and Angel Clare. Mainly at the dairy farm, they were involved with one another mentally. And in chapter 21, the owner of the dairy farm, named Mr. Creek, he had made jokes, and by hearing or listening to that joke, Tess felt disturbed, or it was flashed in her mind that there was the similarity between the life of Tess and the joke which was uttered by Mr. Creek. But ultimately or afterwards, Tess was able to be recovered from that gloomy mood or disappointment. But when Tess went to perform her jobs at the dairy farm, she was disappointed. But then we find some relaxation, or Thomas Hardy has carried us from that gloomy mood to another atmosphere. Angel Clare, who was an apprentice of that dairy farm, he was observing the activities, the mental position of Tess. In the meantime, one day, Tess and her colleagues of the dairy farm, they were 4 girls, were going to a church. But in the meantime, in the road was submerged, or they were not able to go to the church easily. They were confused. But in the time, Angel Clare reached there, and he carried those women one by another. And finally, at the last position, Angel Clare had carried Tess, and he confessed, or he said to his mental position, his attitude to Tess. Then Tess felt confused, but she did not able to take any decision instantly or say anything. But afterwards, Angel Clare had thought gradually, when he was infatuated by Tess, or he liked Tess, then he thought that he would go to meet his parents, and he would say to his parents about his liking to Tess, and he went to his parents and said about their relationship, and mainly his liking of Tess. And in the time, Angel Clare observed that his family was not accepting him easily or spontaneously, because it was seemed to the mind of his family members that in his behavior there was appeared the rustic manners than the manners of a scholar. So, in this place we find the beginning of the climax of Taste. Then, when in that from his parents, Angel Clear heard that his father had preached some words to a squire, but that squire had misbehaved with his father. Mainly it was Alec D'Urberville's. But in the time, Angel Clear did not hear the name of that squire. But when he returned to the dairy farm, he said, or he informed about his journey to his family to Taste. And he also alluded to the squire whom his father had preached something, but he had misbehaved with his father, the clergyman. But hearing or listening to the matter, Taste realized that it was Alec D'Urberville's. So these are the examples of climax. But Taste thought that he would accept the proposal of Angel Clear, but she was confused. She thought frequently, but she did not reach to any solution or any decision. Then at last Taste thought that she would disclose all of his past to Angel Clear, and she did not able to say it to him. For this reason, he wrote a letter, and in her writings, she wrote about her past, and she placed it under the door of Angel Clear. But unfortunately, that letter was passed under the carpet, so she did not able to disclose her past. And in the meantime, their marriage was completed, and they departed the dairy farm. But in the time of their departure, there they find some bad sign. And here we find the biblical reference. If you read this novel, you realize these references. But if in this class if I discuss this reference, my lecture would be burden. Then when they departed when they left that dairy farm, they went to a secluded place to observe their honeymoon. But in the meantime, we realize the characteristics of Angel Clear, the characteristics of Taste, because Angel Clear was not cool-hearted, but she was bright than hot. She was more spiritual than animal, and she loved Taste desperately, but in his love, in his affection, there was fascination, there was imagination more than the practicalism. So, if you read this portion of this novel, many things would be clear to you and you will be able to answer in the questions properly. তোমাদের কিছু প্রশ্ন এরকম হতে পারে যে অ্যাঞ্জেল ক্লেয়ারের চরিত্র বর্ণনা করো, অথবা টেস ডারবারভিলসের চরিত্র বর্ণনা করো, অথবা তার জীবনের যে ট্র্যাজেডি, এই ট্র্যাজেডি কিভাবে ঘটলো, এই ট্র্যাজেডি ঘটার কারণটা কি, অথবা দ্য ক্লাইম্যাক্স, বিগিনিং অফ দ্য ক্লাইম্যাক্স between the relationship of Angel Claire and Tess, and it can be described by you if you read this portion. Thank you very much.